Welcome to part 2 of the video series on HRM, Human Resource Management. In the earlier part, we have discussed the various quotations on HRM, why HRM is very important for any particular organization. We have seen that if the HRM is handled properly, companies in 10 years like Google and Facebook in 20 years, they have built a substantial amount of growth and they are become the benchmark in the industry for any particular startup or any particular company who is wishing to grow. If we have seen that if the employees of the particular company are treated in a very proper way, in a particular respected way, they can bring a lot of growth to the company. So human resource management is very important, and in this particular video we'll be trying to define HRM. We'll be finding out what are the various functions that HRM has been doing, human resource management has been doing. We'll be trying to find out the evolution of HRM. So these are some of the topics that we'll be touching. Quickly moving on to the presentation. Defining HRM, the best definition that I could find on the internet is this one. Stay with me as I try to explain the particular definition. HRM is concerned with the people dimension in management. We're talking about people dimension here. Since every organization is made up of people, acquiring their services, developing their skills, motivating them to the higher levels of performance, and ensuring that they continue to maintain their commitment to the organization are essential to achieving organization objectives. So all these things are achieved, very important, and these are somewhere the exact thing that the HR in a company does. They acquire the people, they develop their skills, they motivate them to higher levels of performance, and also ensure that they continue to maintain their commitment to the organization throughout their journey inside the particular company, throughout their stay inside the particular company. This is true, the definition says, regardless of the type of organization, be it a government organization, be it a business, be it an education, be it health, recreation, or social action. In any particular company, these are the things that a human resource manager needs to do. This is the definition given by DeCenzo and Robbins, which makes it absolutely clear what exactly is HRM in its pure sense. Now we have to also understand that HRM is a multidisciplinary approach. There are various concepts which are brought from various subjects. For example, wages, markets, and resources has come into into HRM from economics. The concept of motivation that we deal in HRM and satisfaction has come from psychology. The concept of organizational structure, the formality of HRM, how they are going to behave, and the concept of culture has come from sociology. And various laws have come from the business law paper like Maternity Benefits, Minimum Wages Act, Factories Act, and a whole number of acts that the human resource manager has to implement inside of the company has come from the paper of business law. So we can find out that having understanding HRM or being an HR manager, you have to have a multidisciplinary approach. You have to have understanding of all these subjects in a proper way. You have to have understanding of economics, you have to have understanding of psychology of individuals, you have to have sociology understanding so that you can understand how people behave in groups, in society, in terms of the organization, and you also have to have a fair understanding of what the prevailing laws inside the country are so that you can execute them in a proper way. Now, HRM has been evolving over the years. If you look at the pre-industrial revolution, most of the workers were kind of slaves or household helps like maids or slaves. So these were the people who were employed in agriculture or in the particular helping of the household chores. So that was happening in the pre-industrial revolution. We're talking about a period which was before 1850s. After 1850s, the world started getting industrialized. New industries were set up, lot of power and electricity and more workers were used. The concept of machines came into things. So this was the post-industrial revolution where the concept of HRM on an overall, the concept of management on an overall started developing across the world. And it is over here that HRM found the seeds of HRM were sown in the post-industrialization area, which is 1850 onwards till today. The concept of HRM started evolution of that particular HRM concept started during this particular period. Now, if you look at the concept, where did it exactly start? HR as an administrator, the first job that the HR people had was just as an administrator, kind of a supervisor, call it. They were ensuring that the payroll of the particular employees were being met, the salaries were getting properly credited to their account. They were also the administrators. They were administering how the work is getting done on the shop floor. That was the kind of job. Whether everything is going in a proper sense or not, that was the first job of a HR manager. Slowly and steadily, they moved on to become a functional expert. They had expertise in manpower training. They were now training people into becoming better at their work. They were hiring and they were doing a lot of things in terms of becoming a functional expert. Later on, HR moved as a strategist. They were now building strategies for the companies. They were building succession planning. Who is going to replace the CEO? The CEO of the company is going to some other company, or some people have already left the company who were very essential for the company. So where is the replacement coming from? That was the job that they were doing. They were doing people management, how to get the best out of that people. HR as a strategy, that is what they were doing as a strategist. And then they become HR as a business leader. Outside, in HR, customer focused HR, strategic expert, and excellent administrator. In today's date, if you find out why we call HR as a business leader, you will find out that most of the CEOs of the company, talk to Mark Zuckerberg, talk to the founders of various company like Facebook, Google, and they will all agree that the concept of getting the best hire inside the company, they do a lot of HR activity. The CEOs of the company, why are they doing it? Because HR is very important. Getting the right people is very important. So they are spending a lot of money and lot of time of their and lot of efforts into getting the right people into business. So HR as a business leader is also in vogue now, in prevalence now, and most of the company CEOs are doing it. Now, if you look at the HR evolution over time, we have seen the HR going from an administrator to a functional expert to a strategist, then finally as a business leader. And look at the right hand side. Earlier, the workers, why has the HR evolved? Because the workers have also evolved. Earlier, we had majorly whatever the jobs were 100 years back, they were movement of things, moving one thing from one place to the other. It was majorly a hand worker. Lot of things were not mechanized. People had to do things with their hand. The workers were low on education and they had low amount of diversity. People used to come from only one particular place. If a company was set up in Jamshedpur, then the people from Calcutta or nearby areas used to come and work in that particular company. But over a period of time, over this 100 years, 150 years, things have changed. Now we have the knowledge worker. Now we have people with degrees who are entering the companies. We have younger people who are entering the jobs. We have people in the 20s who are entering the job and getting the job. Most of the work in today's date is mechanical in nature, and therefore HR also has to evolve to deal with the new kind of workforce, to deal with the new kind of work, and to deal with the globalized work. Now, because of globalization, even in a company of Jamshedpur, you can have people who are coming from Maharashtra. You can have people who are coming from Jammu and Kashmir. So there is a lot of globalization happening. In fact, you can have even people in Tata Steel or in any particular company working from their expatriates. They're coming from different countries and they're working in a particular organization. So HR has to evolve over the last 150 years or so. Now, if you look at HRM in India, the Royal Commission of Labour recommended 1931 the appointment of labour officers. In 1931, labour officers were recommended and appointed to deal with the recruitment of workers. Any kind of recruitment used to happen through them and to settle any kind of grievances that they had. Then in Factories Act 1948, it made it mandatory to employ welfare officers inside of the factory. जहाँ पर भी 500 and more than 500 employees were there, they had to mandatorily appoint welfare officers for the welfare of the employees. 1960s, the concept of personal function began to grow and employee welfare industrial relations, go to industrial relations, and personal administration was the vogue. 1970s, the emphasis shifted from welfare to efficiency, to get more from less amount of labor that they can do. The getting as much as possible your labors as efficiency. 1980s, the professionals stressed new concepts such as human resource management and human resource development. So overall, this is the scenario in India. We are getting to the next particular video. We are halting this particular video for the time being. We'll be discussing the rest of the concepts, the skills required, the roles and everything in the next part of the video. Stay with me and watch that particular video. It will be interesting.